different one today. You know, I always got a match. I'm gonna go with this way. This. All right. Going live again. Day 8. Let's go. All right. I'm gonna play this thing for y'all. I wasn't sure what I was gonna talk about today. Because I kind of wanted to talk about the topic from yesterday because there was a lot going on. I was speaking to somebody that I know, and because they kind of sided with the girl. You got to go watch the video from yesterday if you didn't see it. But the girl who felt like her baby daddy couldn't change her daughter's diaper, and feeling like it was weird and all of these things. It was an interesting topic. Um, but I'm not gonna. I might revisit it a little later. But I'm gonna go to this.
Learned to understand is that my life got so much better when I let people be who they are. When I stopped expecting them to show up the way that I wanted them to,
or even needed
them to, when they showed up the way that they knew how, I'm like, okay, that's who you are. And I understand it. And I made the choice whether I was going to continue to be your friend or be in this moment with you or not. But understanding people, the way they show up, and letting them come the way that they are is a beautiful thing, because it can free you from expectation of them doing things that are like, well, you should have. No, they shouldn't have. They did exactly what they were supposed to do.
I don't know if y'all remember DMX said something like that a while ago. Of course, his was hilarious, you know. But that's something that I'm trying to work on. It was part of my resolution in a sense, not directly, but when I said one of my resolutions is to be stingy with my energy. I can't keep pouring into people. Some of the reason why I pour into people is because I have expectations of them that they don't quite meet. And some of those expectations is because this is how my character is. Like, I'm gonna show up for you this way, and I'll be expecting that in return. It's tough to deal with because some of the ways people can show up for people that you have to explain to them, you feel like, yo, you should already know this. Like, you're too old for this to not know. But maybe that's just who they are. Maybe that's what this was Tyler Perry on Oprah. I'm not a real big fan of Tyler Perry, but you know, a gem is a gem. So maybe that's, you know, just who they are, and you really can't change people. And it's something that I have to deal with and get better at. Because I also, when I hear this and you say take people how they are, I'm also thinking like, well, he said he'll choose whether to stay friends with them or not. But don't you also sometimes gotta let people know like your love language in a sense, you know? And love language don't always have to be with a romantic relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be with a friend, like, yo, this is as my friend, I expect you to show up for me in this way, right? Because what people would do sometimes is, well, I guess it's all part of expectation. Now I'm thinking about it. It's all coming to me right now because I'm still learning this thing myself. But if you don't have the expectation, I guess you shouldn't even have to tell them. You wouldn't need to tell them because there is no expectation of what they should do. You should just take them how they are. You know, if this friend, let's just say hypothetically, if I'm moving and this friend is the type where they like, yo, they a lazy friend. You know what I'm saying? They ain't with all the physical activity. I always been there for them for other things. I can't really get mad at them for not helping me move because, you know, I always kind of knew they was lazy, right? So I shouldn't have that expectation. But it is hard to deal with because you know, people only really truly feel love based off what they feel. They what they expect, what they feel they should get is probably 9 times out of 10 what they will also give out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm willing to help you move, why aren't you willing to help me move, right? Once again, this is just a hypothetical, but that's probably more so what it is. But it is something that I'm learning because it's real tough And then, some of your expectations of people, like they can have other great qualities, about them. That's why you're friends with them, or that's why you're in a relationship with them. And, people do sometimes ignore those other great qualities because of the small percentage of things that they don't do for you that you feel they should because you would do that for them. But what you got to do in reality is you got to really look and see where they show up for you in your life, how they show up for you in your life, and do you do the exact same thing in return? Would you do the exact same thing in return? Sometimes you don't, but people don't look at that. They just look at, yo, I was willing to do this for you, said thing, and you wasn't willing to do that exact same thing for me. But they might be willing to do something else that you aren't willing to do for them. And when you start looking at it that way, it does make it easier. For those who just came in, I'm gonna play this thing one more time so you know what I'm talking about.
I've learned to understand is that my life got so much better when I let people be who they are. When I stopped expecting them to show up the way that I wanted them to, or even needed them to, when they showed up the way that they knew how, I'm like, okay, that's who you are. And I understand that. And I made the choice whether I was going to continue to be your friend or be in this moment with you or not. But understanding people the way they show up and letting them come the way that they are is a beautiful thing, because it can free you from expectation of them doing things that are like, well, you should have. No, they shouldn't have. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. That's right. I've learned to understand.
So, it is something this people really got to look at. I'll give you another example. Let's say if you do something at work, or maybe you graduate from school, and you throw a little get together, a little party, a celebration, and somebody in your life that they just not going to really show up. Some people would take that as a slight and feel like, man, you're not there for me. You ain't show up in the time that I was celebrating. But they'll forget about that time that you might have called them in the middle of the night because their car broke down. You need somebody to pick you up, and they was there. You know what I mean? So the way people show up for you in your life, you just got to really see, do they have value in your life? And maybe they won't show up for you exactly how you want them to show up, but in other ways, things that you might have taken for granted, they was there. So, and that's when you got to be able to recognize what ways will I not show up, because there's ways that you also won't show up for other people. You know what I mean, in their lives. And when you do that, it kind of does make it a little easier. But it is tough. It's real tough. Something that I'm still learning to accept people fully, like how they come. So I don't have that expectation of them, because expectation leads to you being let down. The more expectation you have, the bigger the hurt. And a lot of times when people lash out from being hurt, it's just because they have high expectations of whomever. You feel what I'm saying? But it is what it is, right? I kind of still do want to talk about who in the room right now. Who is this that came in? It was a couple people in here, but I want to see. I'm waiting. Send me a hello. What up? Good day. You know what I mean? Yo, something. Oh, okay. What up, Banky? I'm not going to talk about that topic from yesterday today. I should have, but I'm gonna hold off on it. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna wait and talk about that later at another time. But I do appreciate you coming in and supporting the live stream, being there for me, showing up. I might not show up the exact same way for you, so don't get upset. But now, in all seriousness though, I think I'm gonna end this right here because I don't really got nothing else to say. You dig? So till tomorrow. Peace.